Welcome. In today's video I'm just going to show you how to use the new bookmark feature in the Freedom VMS software. Now the bookmark feature makes the process of exporting and backing up footage a lot easier than prior to the bookmark feature. You no longer have to remember your begin and end times, and you no longer have to duplicate that selection process when exporting footage. Bookmarks also allow you to quickly show someone, like law enforcement, an incident without having to reselect the cameras or the time period that the incident occurred. You simply just double click on the bookmark label and it will open the cameras and start streaming at the time of the incident, providing the video associated with the incident hasn't been overwritten. And to use the bookmark feature, of course, you must have bookmark permissions. As you see here, under user access rights, the bookmark option must be ticked. I also recommend in most cases having the file manager ticked, so you can the user can remove old footage that has already been downloaded. Okay, so I've got the Freedom VMS software open on the live view screen, as we see here. So we need to click on the triangle to enter the playback section of Freedom. So I'll click down here. Now the bookmark feature was introduced in version 3.517031. So if you have that version or above, you have bookmarks. But an easy way to tell if your version has the bookmark feature is to look in the right hand side of the timeline down here. If you see this icon here, that indicates that you have bookmarks. Your version has bookmarks. Now before I go over on how to create a bookmark, I'll just show you quickly how to use existing bookmarks if you have any. So from the playback screen we click on the green search button, then we click on the bookmark manager from the list, and this opens the bookmark manager that shows any existing bookmarks. So here I've got 2 bookmarks existing. So if I wanted to play back one of those bookmarks, I simply just double click and that will open the associated cameras with those bookmarks at the start of the bookmark incident. So that's how you play back a bookmark. Now you can also back up the bookmarks from this or download them. So I could download a single or group of bookmarks if I had them, which I'll cover later on. Now let's get started. So I'm going to select 4 cameras as an example. Now I'll just drag that one over, and that one over here. I'm just dragging the text. So dragging into the tile by dragging the text is one way to select cameras for playback. The other method is to simply tick the cameras you want to play back. Let's say that one, and then click on the green search button and search selected date, and that will start playing at just past midnight. And if you have EMAPs implemented on your system, you can also drag the red camera number over to a tile. That's another way of selecting. So just dragging the red number, or if you've got using the blue camera icons, you can drag the blue camera icons over to an empty tile. Now if I wanted to select another date other than today, there are 2 methods of doing this. I can click on the green search button here and click on search time period. Then of course I can select a date here, and I can select a begin and end time period, and then click on search. Another method is to click on the select date button up here, which I'm going to do, and the green indicates that there is footage available from at least one of these cameras on these days. So let's say I wanted to select the 26th, so I'll click on that. So now my incident occurred on the 26th, let's say around about 9:55, and let's say it ended at 10:05. So once I know my beginning and end time, I can simply click on the bookmark icon, which puts the bookmark, this orange bookmark indicator on the timeline, usually in the middle. Now I can actually just click on the begin time here and say 9:55. Okay, and click on the end time, and let's say 10:05. Now instead of entering the begin and end times in these windows down here, I can of course just do it on the fly. And the easiest way I find to do this is to first zoom into the timeline by clicking the zoom buttons here. And then once you've zoomed in all the way, you can drag this, like I'm doing here with the mouse, drag this orange bookmark range indicator here. You'll see the begin and end times change accordingly when I drag. Now if ever the orange bookmark range indicator icon disappears, which sometimes happens when you're zooming in and moving around the timeline, you can easily bring it back by clicking the bookmark icon again. That will put it in the middle of wherever the timeline is at that point. So if ever that disappears, that's what you need to do. So let's say I wanted to select a time. Again, I can just drag it from the left to select my begin time, and you see the begin time indicator down here selecting what time that currently is. If I want to check where that actually is on the footage, I can just double click around that time period and see what video it is. And the same with the end. I might want to stop here and have that my end period, so I drag the end back a bit, and so that's how you do it on the fly. So when you're happy with your begin and end times or your bookmark selection times, you can then add the actual bookmark or create the bookmark. And you do this by clicking on the plus or bookmark creation icon down here. So I'll click on that and give the bookmark a descriptive name. I'll just say test 2 in this case, and I can be more descriptive here. I probably should give it a date. It's always handy to give it a date. And I'll say blue car. And just click on add bookmark. Now by default the go to bookmark manager after saving is ticked. Now if I wanted to select different time windows within these same cameras, I'd untick that so I could add more bookmarks. Or if I wanted to bookmark a different set of cameras, I'd also untick this and reselect a different set of cameras, maybe from a different time period, and you can also add those bookmarks without going to the bookmark manager. But in this case I won't. I'll just say add bookmark, and you can see the bookmark appear in the bookmark manager just here. Now if I want to download the bookmark I've just created, I simply click and highlight the bookmarks I wish to download or back up. So this is my last one that I just created, but I can also control click to select multiple bookmarks. So this is if you've got different cameras that you wish to back up on the same backup medium or different time windows. So you highlight them all, and in my case I'm going to select my USB stick, which I've just plugged in. It's actually the G drive in my case. So I've highlighted the ones I want to back up, the bookmarks, and in save path down here I need to change it by clicking on the browse path, and I need to point it to my USB device, which in my case is G. So highlight your backup media drive, and in my case it is G. It might be different on yours. And then I simply click download. Now you see you've got download here and download and export. Download will download directly to a USB device or a local hard drive. The download and export option is if you are backing up to CD or DVD rewritable disk. You also use the download and export button when you need to back up pictures or snapshots, and also if you need to include other footage that wasn't a bookmark or saved as a bookmark, you would use the download and export button. In my case it's USB, and I don't need to include any snapshot images or other types of footage that isn't a bookmark. So I'll just click on download, and I'll just pause the video. And when the download has finished, you get this message here, download finished. So I'll click OK. Now I'll quickly show you the download and export option. This is if you want to include pictures or snapshots in your backup, or you want to include video that isn't part of a bookmark. So first of all we select our bookmarks. I want to select both of them in this case, and I click on the download and export option, and I'll just pause the video. Now once the download has completed, it opens the Burn export window as we see here. Now there are three uses for the Burn export window. If you need to back up to a CD or DVD drive, you must use the Burn export section. or if you need to select additional non-bookmarked footage, you need to use the burn export window. Or if you wish to include snapshots in your backup, you need to use the burn export window. And the message we see here is if I was using a CD or DVD as my backup media and I did not want to add any additional footage and I had my CD or DVD in the drive, I could just simply click yes, and that will proceed to burning the footage to the DVD backup. But in my case, I want to back up to a USB device and I also want to add additional footage. So I'm going to select no in this case. Now the way the burn export window is laid out, on the left hand side we have the files that we can select to include in the backup. So these ones over here. By default it shows video only. If I wanted to show pictures, I'd click the pictures option here and untick the video to make it simpler. These are all pictures. And on the right hand side are files that are going to be included in the backup. They've automatically put in the incident that we selected from the bookmark, all the associated cameras and footage is already in there. And to add files to your backup media, it's simply a matter of highlighting the files you want to add over on the left hand side and clicking this right arrow here, which adds them to the list. So it's as simple as that. You can control click or shift click to select multiple files, and you can also remove files from your backup by highlighting them over on the right hand side and selecting this left arrow, which is the remove button. So it's always a good idea to keep an eye on your export list total to see if that doesn't exceed your backup media's capacity. For example, a typical DVD, I wouldn't recommend going above 3.8 gigabytes. If you're using a USB device, that can range from anywhere between 8 gigabytes and 10 terabytes, depending on what system you have. So just keep that in mind. Now by default, over in the left hand pane here, only video files are shown. If I would like to show my pictures, I can tick the picture option up here, and to make it easier for myself I can untick video. So now we're only seeing the snapshot images, and of course I can select whichever one of those I like and add them to the list. So once I'm happy with all the footage that I've selected, I don't want to select any more. I can look up here. The total export list size so far is 1.2 gigabytes in my case. Now you do need to insert a backup media at this point, so you insert your USB drive or stick or CD disk. Now we need to select where we want to back it up to. In my case, I actually want to back up to a USB device, so I have to up here select destination. I'll click that, and then I'll point it to my USB stick or drive, which in my case is G, which is this one here. So I'll highlight, then click OK. Then I can actually check the capacity down here to see if I've got enough room, and I have, it's telling me, and then I can click export to begin the export. I am showing a progress over here on the bottom left of the window. Okay, when the backup has finished, you'll see this export finished window. So I'll just click OK. Now I'll just test our backup. Open Windows File Explorer, go to my stick. We double click on the Start Freedom Player file we see down here. Now that opened pretty quickly. Now that is one of the advantages of backing up to a USB device instead of a CD or DVD. This is why we recommend, if you're backing up HD footage, that you use a USB device. It's a lot faster than a CD or DVD-ROM drive. If this was a CD-ROM drive, you may expect to wait at least 30 seconds to a minute, depending on your system, because reading HD footage off CD is considerably slower than USB. And again, if I want to play the video, I just double click on the files, and if I just want to look at my pictures, I can unclick the video and I can see the different pictures here by double clicking on them. Now we can also test our backup from within the Freedom VMS software, and you do this by clicking on the green search button and then play local video. Then we need to, under source drive, we need to change that to a USB backup drive, or CD if you had a CD. In my case it's a USB, which is the G drive in my case. Then you see the footage over here, and depending on how you backed up, what methods, you may need to click on the CCTV folder here, and we've got footage here. Now the only thing when you're reviewing a backup from within Freedom from another drive, you don't get the picture option. There are pictures actually there, but you can't actually see that from within Freedom. You can only see that when you're in the exported local player, which is on the exported media device. So that's how you test your backup. If you wish to convert the video to AVI, of course, you can right click on the video and select AVI convert from here. Now it's important to understand that a bookmark is just a marker. It is not a backup. The footage of the bookmark is only backed up when you download and export the footage from the main recording drive to another device. So it's very important that you back up immediately. As with any footage, it will eventually be overwritten at some point in time. Now it's important that you maintain your bookmarks by removing old bookmarks that are no longer valid. So we've currently got our bookmark manager open. I'm going to close that to show you how to open the bookmark manager. So to open the bookmark manager, we click on the search and we select bookmark manager from the list. I see in the list I've got here that I've got a fairly old bookmark here, which is actually, if I double click on it, it'll do nothing because it actually doesn't exist. There is no footage associated anymore, so this shouldn't be in the list. It'll just confuse people. So what I'm going to do is delete this. So I highlight and select delete from the bottom of the menu here. And now it's gone. So that's how you delete a bookmark. Now before I wrap up this video, I just want to show you how to clean out your footage download folder from within the Freedom software. It can get full and fill up your hard drive because HD video does take quite some space, and also it makes future process of backing up easier by not having as many files to scroll through, if you like. I'll just show you what I mean. Okay, I'm just in playback, so I'll just go to backup, then burn export. And you'll see this list on the left hand side. This is all my currently downloaded footage that I've already downloaded at some point in time. A lot of it's old, so I don't need it. This list can get quite large, and it does take quite some space on your hard drive. So if I wanted to delete this footage that I should have already backed up by now to another media, an external USB device or DVD, I'll just show you how you do that. So I'll get out of playback. We have to go to live view. Now you do need file manager permissions to use the file manager. And so if you have them, you can click on the menu down here and then select file manager from the list. And you see all our files here. Now just a tip while you're in file manager that makes your life easier is if you click and sort the files by date from the newest to the oldest. That makes choosing what you need to delete easier. So I'll click on time here. That's going to, in this case, click it to the oldest to the newest, but I want the newest to the oldest, so I'll click it again. So here we have our newest dates, followed by the older dates down here. So that's an easy way to identify which files you may want to delete. Now I can select individual files by control clicking or shift clicking to delete, or I can select the whole lot to delete, which I'm going to do. So I select all, then click on delete. That's done, exit, and if I go into playback, you'll find there is nothing in the list, which makes selection now a lot easier for new downloads. So that's how you groom your download folder, if you like. And that's it for the video. Thanks for watching.